Stamp with Amy K YouTube Live, and today I'm going to show you how I made a fun little Christmas card with the Jar of Joy stamp set and the coordinating Sweet Jar Builder Punch. It's a little easier to see the punch when you flip it over. There's not quite so much glare on the front of it, but this is actually a stamp set from the online exclusives, and the punch is an online exclusive as well. There is another online exclusive item called the Sweet Jar. Sorry, banged into the camera stand there. Sweet Jar stamp set that is available in a bundle, and obviously it coordinates with the punch. But I love that Stampin' Up! Brought out a new a new stamp set that coordinates with the with the punch, so you can kind of you can use it for a little bit more. So this one has got Christmas and winter themed images in it. The other stamp set is a little more general. There's some hearts, there's some clovers, there are candles, so you can, it's kind of a maybe spring and birthday related, and this one's definitely Christmas or winter related. So I love that everything coordinates together and works well. So I see Sally is here, and Carol and Debbie and Tina and Christine, Danette and Kathy. Thanks everybody for hopping in. Glad you liked my card. Like I said, it was a fun little one to put together, and I love the little snowman images. So again, Jar of Joy is the name of the stamp set. It's photopolymer, so it's easy to see through, and love that it's got some two-step stamping in here. So this is actually an image. You can stamp your little cookie image and then add some accents to it, and everything fits perfectly inside the little jar. I use the snowman for the card today. There are also a little set of ornaments that you can hang inside the jar. So definitely a cute little set, little lid on here, bow. This image is actually, I'll be using it in my video today, but that little image actually puts the hat band and the scarf on your little snowman. And then there are some fun sentiments. Oh, and snow too. So it is a cute little stamp set, and again coordinates with the Sweet Jar Builder Punch, which all this is online exclusive item. So you're not going to see it in any catalog. You can just go out to stampinup.com and click on the menu button on the upper left, and then click on the online exclusives button, and you'll see it all under there. So, all right. Let me set that over here. Hopefully I won't knock the punch on the floor. One other thing that I did use on here is these Stylish Shapes dies. These are from the annual catalog. They've been around for a little while, and if you don't have this set yet, just get them because you're going to want them. They work for lots and lots of images. I used the third from the smallest circle die for my sentiment on here. So all right, set that aside. And then again, just the online exclusives, just to remind you about those. There were some new ones that came out on the 1st of July. And there are tons of things out there. I think last time I looked, there were like 9 or 10, 11, 12, something like that, pages of online exclusives. Again, they're not tied to any catalog. They kind of come and go, so if you are interested in any of them, go grab the items quickly before they sell out. So again, this is a very, very small selection of what is available right now in the online exclusives. All right. Oh, and Stampin' Up! Also let us know that there are back to school, those tax holidays for 12 states coming up. A couple of them are coming up soon. Details are on my blog, which is stampwithamyk.com, and I'll link to it also in the blog post with this information for this card, so you'll be able to find it. I can't remember what all the states are, but there are like 12 of them, so go out and take a look. So that if there's a sales tax holiday in your area, some of the Stampin' Up! Items are considered school supplies, things like markers, glue, that sort of thing. You may find that you can get those tax-free on your tax-free holiday weekend. So, all right, hopefully that makes sense. If not, go check out my blog post. You'll see all the information out there. All right, so I started with some of this is the Nests of Winter Designer Series paper, which is one of the carryover items, but it's got this cute little snow print on one side of it. So this measures about 2 5/8 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to adhere it to a piece of cherry cobbler cardstock that measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. And we're just going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal to do that. So just got the set. I'm glad to see it's such a cute set and so much fun to use. And I love that you can mix and match and that it works well with the punch that we already all have because, well, if you're like me, you've already ordered it. So, all right. Going to adhere these two together with the Stampin' Seal. Hopefully get this on here fairly straight and somewhat centered, which is always challenging, but I think I got it on there. Mostly straight, mostly centered. All right, so adhere those together, and then we're going to take that and put that on the front of a crumb cake card base. This is cut to 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4.25 in the middle. So just your standard book fold card. It does end up being a top fold card just with the way that I assembled it, but it's just your standard book fold card base. We're just going to take this and adhere it together. To help me get it on here fairly even, I'm just going to line it up here on the grid paper and then going to place the little panel that I've got layered together here over the top. All right, there we go. Got it on the card front. Think I have it fairly straight and fairly centered. And if you end up layering it together and it doesn't layer quite perfectly, you can always take it over to your paper trimmer and just go zip, zip down both sides of it, and then it's all trimmed evenly and nobody will notice that there's like a 1/16 of an inch gone. So that's my trick. If I get it layered on here and it's all sorts of crazy, you can always just trim off a little of the extra on the edges. So, all right. You will be happy to note that I did do a couple of these ahead of time, so you don't have to watch me do 3 times, but I did want to show you what I did for these. So I've got a piece of basic white cardstock, and I've got the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. This is an ink pad that actually one of my team members created for me. The Tuxedo Black Memento ink that you get normally is a felt ink pad. This is actually the Craft White ink pad from Stampin' Up. It comes with an ink refill for white ink, and I'm assuming he probably just took that, put it in his stash. But the ink pad itself is uninked when you get it. So he just took Tuxedo Black Memento ink and inked this ink pad up with it, and it works beautifully. I love it. So if you are considering it, I know that the Tuxedo Black Memento ink has been on back order for a while, and I'm assuming it's because everybody is doing this very same thing with their ink pads. So just be aware the ink, I think it's supposed to be back in stock toward the end of July. I think that's the last I saw. So hopefully it'll be back soon. But it does make a really nice ink pad. Now, I can't guarantee that it's going to last forever and ever like the felt ones do, but I've had it for probably 6 months, and I'm loving it so far. All right. So, I don't know why I closed that, because I'm just not paying attention. I do need to stamp my little snowman inside here, also in Tuxedo Black Memento ink. So I'm just going to ink that up. And then, again, just kind of roughly centering it. It's not going to be in there perfectly, but there you go. All right, got those stamped. Let's close up the ink pad, and then I'm going to grab, this is that little scarf and hat brim image from the Jar of Joy stamp set, and I've got cherry cobbler ink, and that is what I'm going to stamp my little hat brim, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, and scarf on the snowman with. Now, again, when you do not have a camera in between what you are stamping, it's pretty easy to line up. And even with the camera in between, I think I got it fairly straight on there. So, but pretty easy to line that up. And now you've got a little scarf and the little hat thing stamped in a different color. All right, then, whoops, I only want the light color. Got Timid Tiger Stampin' Blends, and that is what I'm going to use to color in my little nose on my snowman. Pumpkin pie would also work, but I don't know. Timid Tiger was what I had in my hand, so that is what I went with. And then I'm going to grab the light Pool Party Stampin' Blends marker. Hey, Karen, thanks for hopping in. Glad you like the little snowman. Got Pool Party Stampin' Blends marker. Going to color in a little bit of the snow around the snowman. And I'm not coloring it in perfectly or doing anything really magical. Just put a little color on here. And then I'm going to grab my color lifter. This is one of my favorite things to do with snow images. Then I'm just going to take the color lifter and kind of scribble over the snow. And it's going to lighten it to give it just a shadow and a hint of the blue on it. So that's the look that I want. So a color lifter does take a minute to do its magic. So you kind of just have to color on it and then give it a second for the ink to dry on it. And then you'll see what I mean. You get just like a nice little shadow of the color on it, which is awesome. While that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and grab my light and dark crumb cake Stampin' Blends markers, and we're going to color in the lid of the jar. You can also stamp the lid just on crumb cake cardstock if you didn't want to have to bother with coloring it and punch it out that way, but I thought it was cute colored, so that's why I did it. And then going in here with the dark crumb cake Stampin' Blends marker and just kind of coloring along the edges and the little handle at the top. Going to come back in with the light. Whoop. I'm using the wrong end. Well, either end is fine. I just prefer to color with the bullet end because I feel like I have a little more control over it. So I'm just blending the dark and light together here on the edges so that there's not such a harsh line. And then I'm just going to take it and lightly pull everything across here to even it out a little bit more. And that is all that I did for coloring on the lid. So super quick and easy. One last thing I'm going to do is stamp the snowflake image in Pool Party ink around the edges of the snowman. And again, these are all images in the Jar of Joy stamp set. So I kind of tilt it, stamp it around that side, and then I flipped it actually upside down and stamped it on the other side. So there we go. Got a little snow in there. Close that up, and then I'm going to grab my punch. Oh, set it aside over here so I wouldn't knock it over, and then I forgot where I put it. All right, so it does punch both pieces at once, so just be aware of that when you're stamping it. There you could probably set up a template in some way, get it all lined up, and then just stamp, stamp, stamp across 3 times and punch it all out at once. I did not have that much coordination with mine, so I just punched it out and then stamped the lid in a little different spot and then punch that out. All right. Get all this mess out of here. Set my punch over here so that hopefully I won't knock it on the floor. And then the last thing I did with the jar is I did add just a little bit of Pool Party ink along the edge with one of the small blending brushes. I just thought it added kind of a little, I don't know, a little more color to the edge of it so that it stood out a little bit more. Originally when I was designing this card, I'd had it on a white background. And then it really stood out a lot more having a little bit of Pool Party ink on the edge of it. But after I kind of get everything all laid out and figured out what I wanted to do, I changed it up completely. I had a totally different card in mind when I was going to make this. And then you know how that goes. Sometimes it doesn't turn out quite the way you want. So I just redid it all and put it on here instead, or put it out this way instead. So, all right. So we've got our 3 little jars. I'm going to pull back my card base, and I'm going to start adhering the little jars to the card front. I'm going to just use Stampin' Seal to adhere the bigger part of the jar. So we're going to take that, and we're going to kind of tilt it over here on the edge. And then I'm going to grab, love the look of the Pool Party. Oh, man, I like it too. Can let me know when we are back and good to go. Oh, looks like we're back. Okay, sorry, my sister was calling me, and clearly I did not turn my phone on. So, all right, I'm good. Okay, thanks, Karen. So added a little bit of glue to the lid for my jar, and we're just gonna smoosh it down here on the top and hold on to it for a second. So Pool Party is really the best for winter projects. I do agree. And for snow, it's perfect, I think. So, all right. Then we are going to grab, hey, Laura, thanks for joining today. Going to grab a little more Stampin' Seal and put the next little jar on here, kind of off to the side and a little bit higher up. And of course, the phone ringing got the dog all riled up too. So now she's running around in here, shaking and making noise. So, and again, just going to grab a little of that liquid glue, putting it on the back of my lid, sticking it here on the top. And then I'm just going to hold it a second to make sure that it's stuck down well. And then the final little snowman jar we are going to put on with Stampin' Dimensionals. Hey, Marilyn, thanks for hopping in. And I am early today, so it's, I think starting next week I should be able to go back to the regular 2 o'clock time that I normally go live. But just this week had some summer stuff for my daughter going on, so I had to switch it. So, all right, so in order to make sure that my lid has dimensionals underneath it as well, and it's stuck to the card front with the dimensionals, I've got dimensionals here on the back of my jar, and then I'm just going to take a couple of them and sort of stick them up here near the top and kind of hang it over the top just a little bit, so you don't want to smush them down really hard because you'll stick it to your paper or whatever you're working on. So we've got a little sticky side up here, and then I'm just going to take my jar lid and put it around right over the top and then smush it down so that the jar lid is kind of crazily crooked, stuck to the top of the jar. Oh, there we go. I think I can get it straightened out. That looks better. All right. So then I'm going to peel the backing off of these. and adhere it to the card front. I do chop my dimensionals in half. If you like the whole dimensionals, you can certainly use those. I just like the half ones because it fits better. They fit better in most places where I want to use them, but I know not everybody does. So, all right, there we go. We got the lid, and that's secured now to the card front with the dimensionals that were hanging kind of over on the back of it. All right. Next thing I've got is some of the real red and white baker's twine, and we're just going to tie a little bow with that. Hopefully, if I can get my fat fingers to go ahead and tie a bow. There we go. Looks like it's going finally. And there we go. A little tug here. Make sure it's fairly even. All right, that looks all right. So we are going to go ahead and trim off the extra here. This is a little extra long on the one side, so we're just going to snip that off as well. So just want to pick up the jar and shake it. I know and I actually, for a minute, I will tell you that I thought about trying to make it a shaker card, and then I just couldn't. I don't know. I couldn't figure out how to trim out the inside of it. Because actually that was when I very first started making this card. I'm like, oh, I should make it a shaker card, and then I couldn't figure out quite how to do it. So I'm not very good with the X-Acto knife. If you are good at chopping the center out of things, it would probably be really easy to do, but I'd find that I'm not one who's good at hand cutting anything. It ends up all crazy crooked and stuff trimmed that shouldn't be trimmed, and so I'll leave that to somebody who's better at doing that than I am. But it is a good idea. I do like the shaker idea. So, gone to cutting your dimensionals in half? Yes. All right. We got another one. So, all right. Last thing here on second to last thing here on the card front is I've got my sentiment from the Jar of Joy stamp set. Got my embossing buddy, and we're just going to rub that on some Pool Party cardstock. Grab my Versamark ink pad. Ink this up well, and we will stamp it here on the Pool Party cardstock. And then we're going to heat emboss it with some white embossing powder from the Basics Wow embossing powders. So it's a set of 3. You get white, black, and clear in the package. And I do like these so much better than the old embossing powders that we had. They're just kind of much brighter when they actually heat emboss. So, all right. Closing that up so that I don't end up with embossing powder all over the place. And then I'm going to grab my heat tool. So Stampin' Up! Heat tool has 2 settings on it. There's a level 1 setting for drying. So if you're doing something like watercoloring or something like that, where the ink takes a little bit longer to dry, you can use that to speed up the drying process, or you can use the level 2 setting, which is what I've got it flipped to here for heat embossing. It gets a little bit hotter with the level 2 setting. Both of them are still hot, so you don't want to put your fingers in front of it either way, but definitely both of them, the level 2 setting does get a little bit hotter. So, and then we're going to flip it here to the project, and as you can see, it's starting to turn that bright white and shiny. And then it's done cooking the embossing powder. You don't want to overheat it because you can actually burn your embossing powder, and then it gets dull and brown and not very pretty, and you don't want that. So there you go. So we got kind of the nice bright white embossing on it. Then I'm going to go to my Stylish Shapes dies, and we're going to grab the 3rd from the smallest, and it just perfectly fits right around the sentiment here. So that is how I'm going to cut it out. I will run it through my die cutting machine, and I'll be right back. There we go. Got my little sentiment ready to go, and get this paper out of here. So hopefully I won't end up having that stuck to the back of something it shouldn't be stuck to. Now that I've already got my little twine on here, there's a bump in the middle of it with the bow. So I actually am just going to take my Stampin' Dimensionals and stick it right around the edges, or right around the center of the bow. And that's what I'm going to use to adhere my sentiment to the card front. So you can put the dimensionals on the back of your die cut piece if you want to, but you kind of have to then judge where the twine is at so it doesn't end up with a weird bump or anything on it. So I just usually stick it to the card front if I can possibly do that, which worked out well for this one. So, all right. Okay, now you have me thinking about how to cut out the center. I know. I think I saw somebody use a circle punch on it, which would work, but it doesn't really give you like the nice kind of, I don't know, jar shape to it. So I'll have to think on it and do some more. Do scissors or cutter, cut them. Oh, I use the scissors to cut them in half. So basically I just take, this would be a full sheet of Stampin' Dimensionals, and I just take it. I don't know if you can see where the little dividers are here. So here's my little shaped dimensional. I just take it, put my scissors around it, and chop right down the center of the row, and that's what I use for my dimensionals. So, all right, last thing that I've got here are some of the real red and white adhesive back peppermints, and so we're just going to take a couple of those and stick them around here on the card front. So we're going to put one of the big ones over there, and then we've got the medium-sized one we'll put over here by the sentiment. And then one of the small ones we'll also put right up here by the big one. So I did do a group of 3 that time, which I know isn't normally and what I do, but I did it on this one. So scan and cut. I have absolutely no idea, Tina, because I've never used a scan and cut. So for anybody that has, if you have any suggestions, it may work. I don't know. I just haven't tried it. So I can't say for sure whether it would or wouldn't work. I'm not an expert in the that type of cutter because I've never used one at all, so I don't even know what they can and can't do. All right, so I've got the sentiment also from the Jar of Joy stamp set, and we are going to stamp this in Cherry Cobbler ink. Just going to ink it up well here. Turn it so that it's right side up would be a good thing. And then we're going to stamp it here on basic white cardstock. This piece is cut to about 4 by 5 1/4. So have to learn how to use, never learn how to use. I didn't either, so I don't know. I've never actually had one. So, and I do know that they do have a bit of a learning curve with them, because I know a friend of mine had one and she was wrestling with it one day, and I'm like, I have no idea. I can't help you at all because I've never touched one. So, all right, this is a piece of the Nests of Winter Designer Series paper. It's about 3/4 of an inch wide by, I don't know, this is about 6 inches long to start with. But I just adhered it on with a little Stampin' Seal, and then I'm going to take this and trim it even with the edge of the paper. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a little of the Stampin' Seal to put this on the inside of the card, and we're going to be all done for today. So pretty quick and easy, and definitely you need to get this stamp set because it's really cute, especially if you've already got the jar punch, the jar builder punch. Just get the stamp set because it's way cute. And actually, I've been chatting with some people about it, and we've decided we actually like this stamp set better than the one that originally came with the punch. So get them both, and then you won't be sad. All right, so there we go. Quick and easy, and like I said, lots of fun to use, lots of fun to create little winter scenes on it, and love the little peppermints too. And technically they're real red, but I think the colors are close enough that I think it works together. So, all right, let me know if you have questions about anything. All the details for this will be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. I'll link directly to it in the description of the video once the post goes live around 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So you'll be able to go over there and grab the PDF tutorial, which is going to have all the cardstock cuts and measurements, all the products that I use to create it there. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I will plan to be live, hopefully. I don't think there will be any other issues for the rest of the summer, although I shouldn't say that because there always is something. But I'm planning to go live moving forward around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesdays and Fridays, just like I've been doing during the school year. So have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks again for joining, and we'll chat with you all soon.